After more than 3 decades in medicine, I've seen countless patients, people just like you, unknowingly harm their health with what they believed were the absolute healthiest choices. And one of the biggest culprits, believe it or not, is fruit. We're taught from a young age that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And while there's truth to that, the full story is far more complex, especially as we enter our 60s, 70s, and beyond. Today, we're going to bust some dangerous myths. We're going to talk about the best, and frankly, the worst fruits for your health after the age of 60. What you learn today could fundamentally change how you feel tomorrow. Now, why does this matter so much? Why can't we just eat any fruit we want, guilt-free? The answer lies in how our incredible bodies change over time. Think of your metabolism in your 20s as a roaring bonfire that could burn through almost anything you threw at it. By our 60s, that fire is more like a steady, controlled burn. It's still powerful, but it processes fuels, especially sugars, differently. A sudden rush of sugar from a fruit that's high on the glycemic index isn't just a small blip anymore. It can be a significant challenge for our system to manage, potentially leading to dangerous blood sugar spikes, inflammation, and weight gain. Furthermore, many of us are on essential, life-saving medications for conditions like high blood pressure, heart disease, or blood clotting. What most people don't realize is that certain compounds in common fruits can interfere with these medications, either making them less effective or dangerously amplifying their effects. And then there's the issue of inflammation, that silent fire within our bodies that is a root cause of so many age-related ailments. From arthritis to heart disease, the wrong fruits can fan those flames, while the right ones can help extinguish them. For over 30 years, I've dedicated my practice to the unique health needs of seniors, and my goal has always been to provide clear, practical advice that empowers you to live your healthiest, most vibrant life. So, let's get practical. Let's start by looking at 4 fruits you should rethink, or at the very least, be more mindful of. The first fruit on our caution list might surprise you: grapes. Yes, those convenient, poppable, sweet little jewels. The problem with grapes is twofold. First, they are essentially little bags of sugar. They have a high glycemic load, which means they can raise your blood sugar very quickly. For anyone who is diabetic, pre-diabetic, or simply trying to manage their weight and energy levels, this is a significant issue. Let me tell you about a patient of mine, a wonderful gentleman named George. George was in his early 70s and was working so hard to manage his pre-diabetes with diet. He'd cut out desserts and sodas, but he couldn't understand why his morning blood sugar readings were still stubbornly high. We went through his food diary, and everything looked perfect, until we got to his evening snack, a large bowl of green grapes he'd munch on while watching television. He thought it was a virtuous choice, but that healthy snack was delivering a concentrated dose of sugar right before bed, overwhelming his system and setting him up for a high reading the next morning. Once we swapped that bowl of grapes for a small handful of berries, his numbers stabilized within a week. The second concern with grapes is pesticide residue. Because of their thin skins, they consistently rank on the dirty dozen list of produce with the highest pesticide levels. These chemicals can place an additional toxic burden on our bodies. So if you love grapes, my advice is to treat them like a dessert, not a free-for-all snack. And if you can, always opt for organic, a much better swap. Berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, they give you that sweetness, but with a fraction of the sugar and a huge dose of fiber and disease-fighting antioxidants. The second fruit to be mindful of is pineapple. That sweet, tropical taste is wonderful, but it comes with a couple of warnings for seniors. Pineapple contains a powerful enzyme called bromelain. Now, bromelain has some health benefits, like reducing inflammation, but it also has a significant blood-thinning effect. For anyone taking anticoagulant medications like warfarin, Coumadin, or even daily aspirin, this can be a serious problem. It can amplify the medication's effect, leading to a much higher risk of bruising and dangerous bleeding. I once had a patient, let's call her Eleanor, who came to me concerned about large, unexplained bruises on her arms. Her medication levels were stable, and nothing else in her routine had changed. After some careful questioning, I discovered she had recently developed a love for fresh pineapple and was eating it almost every day. That was the missing piece of the puzzle. The bromelain was interacting with her blood thinner, putting her at risk. We replaced the pineapple with other fruits, and the bruising issue resolved. Beyond that, the high acidity in pineapple can be very harsh on a more sensitive, mature stomach, potentially worsening acid reflux or heartburn, a common complaint I hear in my practice. A fantastic alternative for getting your dose of vitamin C without the risks is melon. Cantaloupe and honeydew are both rich in vitamins, are gentle on the stomach, and don't interfere with common medications. Our third fruit to approach with caution is another breakfast staple, the orange. Oranges are celebrated for their vitamin C content, and rightfully so. But for many seniors, the high acid content can cause significant problems. One of the most common issues I see in my clinic is gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD. It's that painful, burning sensation of acid coming back up the esophagus. For individuals prone to this, a glass of orange juice or even just a whole orange can be like pouring gasoline on a fire, irritating the sensitive lining of the esophagus and worsening symptoms. This acidity can also be tough on dental health. As we age, our enamel naturally wears down and saliva production can decrease. The acid from oranges can accelerate this erosion, leading to tooth sensitivity and decay. I had a patient, a lovely woman named Mary, who for years suffered from chronic heartburn that even her prescription medication couldn't fully control. She was frustrated and uncomfortable. When we reviewed her diet, we found her well-intentioned habit, a tall glass of fresh squeezed orange juice every single morning. She believed it was the key to staving off colds. In reality, it was the primary trigger for her daily discomfort. We switched her morning juice to a simple glass of water and had her eat a kiwi instead. Kiwis are fantastic. They are packed with even more vitamin C than an orange per ounce, but are significantly less acidic and also high in fiber. The change for Mary was remarkable. Her reflux symptoms subsided dramatically within 2 weeks. The final fruit on our caution list is the banana. This one often gets a lot of pushback because bananas are known for being rich in potassium, which is crucial for heart and muscle function. However, more is not always better, especially when it comes to potassium for seniors. First, bananas are quite high in sugar and have a higher glycemic index than many other fruits, meaning they can cause a rapid rise in blood sugar. Second, and this is something many people don't know, bananas can contribute to constipation. While very ripe, brown spotted bananas can have a laxative effect. The slightly green or barely yellow bananas are high in resistant starch and tannins, which can slow down digestion and worsen constipation, a very common and uncomfortable issue for older adults. But the most serious concern is for individuals with compromised kidney function or those on certain heart medications like ACE inhibitors or beta blockers. Healthy kidneys are brilliant at filtering excess potassium out of the blood. But as we age, kidney function can decline, sometimes without any obvious symptoms. When the kidneys aren't working at 100%, eating a high potassium food like a banana can lead to a dangerous buildup of potassium in the blood, a condition called hyperkalemia, which can cause heart palpitations or even a life-threatening cardiac event. I'll never forget a patient named Frank, who was managing chronic kidney disease. He'd heard that potassium was good for his blood pressure and started eating a banana every day. His intentions were perfect, but his body couldn't handle the load. He came in for a routine checkup feeling weak and dizzy. His lab work showed critically high potassium levels that required immediate medical intervention. A much safer choice for daily fiber and nutrients is often an apple or a pear. They provide wonderful soluble fiber, are gentler on blood sugar, and have a more moderate potassium content. Now, I know that last section may have felt like a list of things to avoid, and I don't want to leave you with the impression that fruit is the enemy. Far from it. It's all about making informed choices. The key is to choose the fruits that work for your body, not against it. So let's shift gears. Let's talk about the healing and protective fruits, the nutritional superstars that I actively encourage my senior patients to incorporate into their diets. These are the fruits that can truly help you thrive. And we're going to start with one of my absolute favorites, a fruit that is unique in almost every way, The avocado. Yes, botanically, an avocado is a single-seed berry. Unlike most fruits that are high in carbohydrates and sugar, the avocado is packed with healthy monounsaturated fats. These are the same kinds of heart-healthy fats you find in olive oil. Why is this so important after 60? These fats are superstars for your cardiovascular system. They help lower LDL, the bad cholesterol, while raising HDL, the good cholesterol, which helps keep your arteries clear and reduces your risk of heart attack and stroke. I had a patient, a retired school teacher named Brenda, who was struggling to get her cholesterol numbers under control despite being on a statin. She was hesitant to increase her medication dosage because of the side effects. We worked on her diet, and one of the key changes was adding half an avocado to her daily routine, usually on a piece of whole wheat toast for breakfast. 6 months later, her LDL cholesterol had dropped by 15 points. It was the nutritional boost her body needed. Beyond the heart, these healthy fats are critical for brain health, helping to support memory and cognitive function. And because they are so soft and creamy, avocados are incredibly easy to eat and digest, which is a real bonus for anyone with dental issues or a sensitive digestive system. They are also surprisingly high in fiber and contain more potassium than a banana. But because it's delivered with fat and fiber, it's absorbed more slowly and is generally safer. Adding avocado to your diet is simple. Spread it on toast, scoop it into a salad, or blend it into a smoothie for a rich, creamy texture. The next healing fruit on our list is one that I call nature's aspirin, cherries. Specifically, tart cherries. These beautiful, deep red fruits are one of the most potent anti-inflammatory foods you can eat. They are loaded with compounds called anthocyanins, which give them their rich color and are powerful antioxidants that work to calm inflammation throughout the body. For the millions of seniors who suffer from the daily aches and pains of arthritis, this is incredibly good news. Chronic inflammation is the engine that drives the pain and stiffness in our joints. By incorporating cherries or tart cherry juice into your diet, you can help to cool that inflammation down. I had a patient, a retired carpenter named Arthur, whose hands were so swollen and painful from osteoarthritis that he'd had to give up his lifelong passion for woodworking. The pain was constant. On my recommendation, he started drinking a small glass of concentrated tart cherry juice mixed with water every evening. He was skeptical, but he was willing to try anything. About a month later, he came in for a follow-up, and he had the biggest smile on his face. He held up his hands and flexed his fingers, showing me how much the swelling had gone down. He told me the constant, deep ache had finally subsided, and he was back in his workshop, able to hold his tools again. For him, it was life-changing. Beyond arthritis, this anti-inflammatory action can also help with gout, another painful condition common in older adults. As an added bonus, cherries are a natural source of melatonin, the hormone that regulates our sleep-wake cycles. A small serving in the evening can help promote a more restful night's sleep, which is something many of us can appreciate. Our third nutritional powerhouse is a tiny fruit with a giant reputation for brain health, the blueberry. I often refer to these as brain berries, and for good reason. Blueberries are packed with a class of antioxidants called flavonoids. What makes these compounds so special is their ability to cross the blood-brain barrier, a protective membrane that shields our brain from harmful substances. Once inside, these flavonoids go to work protecting our brain cells from damage caused by oxidative stress and inflammation, which are two of the key drivers of age-related cognitive decline. Think of them as tiny bodyguards for your neurons. Regular consumption of blueberries has been linked in numerous studies to improved memory and a slowing of cognitive aging. I recommend them to nearly every patient who expresses concern about those senior moments. I remember a patient, a vibrant woman named Susan, who was worried because she felt her mind wasn't as sharp as it used to be. She'd misplace her keys more often or struggle to recall a name. We made one simple, consistent change, adding a cup of blueberries to her daily diet. She would throw them in her morning oatmeal or blend them in a smoothie. When I saw her 3 months later, she reported feeling clearer. The fog had lifted a bit. While blueberries are not a cure for dementia or Alzheimer's, The scientific evidence is strong that they play a significant protective role, helping to keep our brains healthier for longer. A great practical tip is to buy large bags of frozen blueberries. They are just as nutritious as fresh, often more affordable, and they won't go bad in your refrigerator. The final healing fruit I want to highlight is the magnificent pomegranate. For centuries, this fruit has been a symbol of health and vitality, and modern science is now showing us why. The pomegranate is a cardiovascular champion. Its real magic comes from incredibly potent antioxidants called punicalagins, which are found in the juice and the peel. These compounds are so powerful that pomegranate juice has been shown to have greater antioxidant capacity than red wine, green tea, or even blueberry juice. How does this help you? These antioxidants are fantastic for your heart and blood vessels. They work to lower blood pressure, reduce LDL cholesterol oxidation, which is a key step in the formation of plaque in the arteries, and can even help improve blood flow. I like to tell my patients that pomegranates help protect your pipes. I worked with a gentleman named David whose blood pressure was starting to creep into the danger zone. He was very motivated to avoid starting medication if possible. We put together a plan that included daily walks and reducing sodium, and I also had him start incorporating pomegranate seeds into his salads and yogurt. At his 3-month follow-up, the combination of these lifestyle changes had worked beautifully. His blood pressure was back down in a healthy range, and he felt empowered that he had been able to take control of his health. This is a perfect example of how the right food choices can be a powerful form of medicine. Now, pomegranates can be a bit of work to open. A practical tip is to buy the seeds, which are called arils, already packaged and ready to eat. You can also drink 100% pomegranate juice, but be mindful of the sugar content and keep the serving size small, around 4 to 6 ounces a day. So we have these incredible, healing foods at our fingertips: avocados for our heart and brain, cherries for our joints, blueberries for our memory, and pomegranates for our vascular health. But the most important prescription I can give you isn't about one specific fruit. It's about the principle of making wise, individualized choices that honor your unique health needs. What works wonders for your neighbor might not be the best choice for you, especially if you're managing a chronic condition or taking specific medications. This is where partnership with your healthcare provider becomes so vital. Before you make any major changes to your diet, like suddenly adding a lot of a new fruit, it's always a good idea to have a conversation with your doctor or a registered dietitian. They can look at your personal health history, your lab results, and your medication list to help you create a plan that is both safe and effective for you. I always advise my patients to think in terms of swaps, not subtractions. Instead of feeling deprived because you're cutting back on grapes, feel empowered because you're adding in delicious, brain-boosting blueberries. Making gradual changes is the key to long-term success. Abrupt, drastic shifts in diet are hard to maintain and can sometimes be a shock to your system. Start with one small change this week. Maybe you'll swap your morning orange juice for a handful of cherries. Small, consistent steps are what lead to profound and lasting improvements in your health and well-being. The goal of our conversation today wasn't to scare you or to create a list of forbidden foods. My purpose is never to take the joy out of eating. Instead, it's to empower you with knowledge, to help you see that food is one of the most powerful tools you have to manage your health. It's about shifting from a passive approach to an active one, where you are the one in the driver's seat of your own well-being. Understanding how a simple choice in the produce aisle can affect your joints, your blood sugar, your heart, or your memory is the first step toward a more vibrant and energetic life. Every single day, you make choices that either build you up or break you down. By choosing fruits like avocados, berries, and cherries, you are actively investing in a healthier future you. You are taking a stand for your own vitality. And now, I'd love to hear from you. This is a community where we can all learn from one another. Please go down to the comments section and let me know which fruits are a staple in your diet. Was there anything on our list today that truly surprised you? And perhaps most importantly, what is one small swap you might consider trying this week after hearing this information? Your experiences are valuable, and sharing them can help and inspire someone else who is on the same journey. If you found this conversation helpful, I would be so grateful if you would subscribe to the channel and click that little bell icon. Doing so ensures you won't miss our future videos, where we'll continue to explore practical, evidence-based strategies for thriving in our golden years. And you certainly won't want to miss our very next video, where we're going to investigate the other side of the produce aisle and uncover the 5 vegetables that could save your life after 60. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, your health is your greatest asset. Cherish it, protect it, and invest in it wisely. Be well, stay informed, and I look forward to seeing you again right here next time.